Congratulations to HBREN and Yostar for hitting their 180th day anniversary. I am pleased to note that the Angel Beats collab is finally here. There have been many Memoria adjustments, UI changes, and new features to this update. Notable updates are to the anachronies, where bosses can be selected instead of it being rotated every week. The hardest bosses will reap the highest income to the new shop. The shop will hold new goodies as well, so go check it out. There are massive UI changes as well. You can now see unobtained Memoria skill sets in the game. You can see their damage, their buff, debuff, and heal numbers. In battle, you can actually see the target of your single target buffs. The funnel hit count buff icon should also be present as well. If you hold down the enemy, instead of just saying debuffs, you should be able to also see the resistant amount as well. With the Angel Beats collab, Ian will be getting the new score challenge, the Entwined Blade. The boss is actually the arachnid boss that you're probably familiar with if you're farming charms. The moveset that it has is actually quite similar to that fight. The boss will be weak to fire and light by 50%, as it corresponds to the Angel Beats collab of Yuri and Kanade. Let's look at the rule set for each week. In week 1, the boss can have their ice and dark resistant increased by 80%. The max DP of the boss will increase by 50%, and the party's crit rate will be decreased by 50%. To tackle week 1, make sure to not bring ice and dark bracelets to build OD, as well as ice and dark damage dealers. With critical rate being decreased by 50%, 2 critical rate buffs will be required to have an extremely high likelihood of critting. This can be bypassed actually by Piercing Crit, if you're running Inori 2 or Hisame 1 EX, as Piercing Crit is guaranteed to crit. For week 2, the boss will be resistant to Null or No Element, max HP will be increased by 50%, and you'll have your OD gauge decreased by 10% every turn. As long as elemental bracelets are worn, every auto attack should net you some OD. Follow-up attacks, however, will bring 0. Pierce Crit will ignore the null resist, so Inori 2 can still be used here. As each auto attack gains 7.5% OD, losing 10% per turn is effectively about 130% of an auto attack's worth of OD. The boss attack pattern will have a mix of single target hits, AoE defense debuffs, and self-attack up. It'll be important to know that on turns that the boss buffs their own attack, you will not be taking any damage. However, the following turn, the boss will deal large amounts of damage, so beware. This damage can be mitigated easily using Aoi's EX Angel Wings, or you can bring a defense buffer like the free Yuri SS that will be provided in the Angel Beats collab. In my 90 days celebration video, I noted methods for building a standard team. If you'd like the breakdown on how to build teams, please feel free to pause the video and refer to the video in the description. For those who know the basics of team building, I'll dive to potential teams that can be used to tackle the boss. There'll be 3 main methods on tackling score challenge: fire teams, light teams, and Inori 2 team. Other elements can be used if not resisted, but require more support to reach 400k. Anyone who deals fire damage can actually be your fire damage dealer. However, the top single target fire damage dealers are going to be the new Yuri 1, who acts as a main damage dealer, an OD generator, and a blaster, all in one. And also Ruka 1, the main standard single target damage dealer. Isuzu, Nina, Yuki 2, Minori, and Kanen 2 are decent replacements for fire damage dealers as well. A typical fire team will look like the following. You'll have Megu 3, Yotsuha 1, Mua 1, and Yunyun. These will be your top supports to bring on a fire team when you're hitting weakness. The new improved Tsukasa 2 can actually replace Yotsuha. However, during week 1, there'll be a decrease of 50% crit, which means that you'll require a crit buffer, for instance, Seika 2. Tsukasa 2+1 with a crit buffer can actually replace both Megu 3 and Yotsuha 1 together, though the potency of their skill set of Tsukasa 2 and 1 with a crit buffer will not be as high as Megu 3 and Yotsuha 1. Mua and Yun are sadly not replaceable, as their buffs are basically unique to them as of current EN. However, if you do not have either option, Mua can be replaced by any healer, while Yun can be replaced by any buffer or defense down debuffer. The final slot will be for Aoi, or another buffer or debuffer or blaster, depending on what you need. Remember, if you're hitting weakness, you'll still need vulnerable debuff. Light holds some nice options as well. There's a new damage dealer, Kaneda 1, will be from Angel Beats. She can provide herself tactical vision. Kanen 3 is also a nice damage dealer, as she is a blaster with a built-in large funnel or hit count buff. Yuina 1 is just like Ruka 1 for fire, she is for light, a very standard, high damaging single target damage dealer. Other decent replacements for light damage dealers are anyone who deals decent light damage, like Nina 2, Ruka 2, Kuda 1, and more. A typical light team will look like the following. Tsukasa 3, Mua, and Yun are top supports for light teams trying to hit weakness. Replacements for Tsukasa 3 include Seika 2 for crit rate, as long as you also bring Mia 1 in the same team, as Mia 1 will provide the light field. If Mia 2+1 is available, the debuffs for Mia 2, which include Fragile, will be incredibly nice to have for scoring higher. Like fire teams, Mua's tactical vision cannot really be replaced by another. However, if you have Kaneda 1 as your main damage dealer, she can actually provide herself with that buff. Thus, on a team with Kaneda 1, Mua is not required, and any healer will do. Yun can be replaced as well, that is, if you're running Kaden 3, as Kaden 3 actually provides herself with a large funnel, the same buff that Yun would have provided. The last slots in your team should ensure you have all required buffs and debuffs, for instance, vulnerable. Otherwise, you can bring someone like Aoi or any other healer. Lastly, for an Inori 2 team, you'll want a team with Mua, Yun, and a vulnerable debuffer, and that's the least you'll need. There are no replacements for any of these 3 slots. The other 2 can have a flex of either Aoi, you can have a blaster, or anything you would think you require. Other teams can clear this boss, as long as they do not hit resist. Here are some example teams.
界の中にも音楽はある。
専用マーク、私すごくいいね。コンコンコン、呼びましたか？
彼は神の警察だ。
置いてくれ。厳しくありましょう。コンコンコン、呼びましたか？
彼は神の警察だ。
いいですね。聖変に円弱の剣。切り続ける。それだけだ。
Thank you for playing HBREN. And if you're new, you're in for a fun story-based game. Remember to actively log in during this event for 150 free pulls and a free Yuri Bed 1. Hope luck is in your favor.